Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to meet U.S. President Donald Trump today. The visit will be Mr. Trump's first with a foreign leader since the start of his second term in office last month. It comes against a backdrop of escalating violence in the West Bank, as a ceasefire in Gaza appears to hold, and as Netanyahu faces pressure from far-right elements of his government to resume the war. The National's Jerusalem correspondent Thomas Helm reports.
The timing of the meeting between Netanyahu and Trump is significant because we're entering a stage when the parties should be beginning negotiations to enter the second phase of the deal. The second phase of the deal talks about much more long-term issues like a permanent ceasefire, as well as exchanging more prisoners and hostages, who probably at this stage will be dead bodies. But it's also significant because at home in Israel, Mr. Netanyahu's facing a lot of pressure over the deal. So there have been reports in Israel and fears that Mr. Netanyahu will use the conversations with Donald Trump to make a case that Israel should not continue the deal after the first phase.
We will not allow you to force us back into war.
One way in which Mr. Netanyahu might try and appease far-right opponents of the deal that are in his coalition would be perhaps offering something major in the West Bank. There are many settlers in this group of opponents to the deal, and the West Bank for them is a massive priority.
Netanyahu faces an arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court over allegations of war crimes in Gaza. It's his first visit to the White House since returning to office at the end of 2022. Elon Musk said on Monday he was working to shut down the U.S. foreign aid agency known as USAid. Musk is leading President Trump's efforts to shrink the federal government with a focus on slashing government spending through the new Department of Government Efficiency.
USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
The cuts reportedly took effect this week, with some USAID employees told not to come to office. A decision to shut the agency could have significant effect on projects in the Middle East and North Africa, which have long relied on a share of the tens of billions of dollars USAID distributes annually. Weeks after the largest presence of tech CEOs at a U.S. presidential inauguration, tech figures are playing an unprecedented role in government affairs and policymaking. Bill Gates, co-founder and former chief executive of Microsoft, spoke to the National's Rory Reynolds about that in his new memoir, Source Code.
We don't know how much political power tech leaders will have. Nobody elected tech leaders, so...
Here's Rory joining us now.
Firstly, with Trump, he was quite guarded. He obviously has met Musk a number of times. But yeah, his message, when I asked him, how he saw this panning out, he was cautious. And I think, like others, he may see Musk moving so fast and at such a pace that you've got to wonder where this is going to end up. But since then, he's obviously tried to maintain some sort of closeness with Musk. So in our conversation, he mentioned that he had this lengthy dinner at Mar-a-Lago.
I went down and had dinner with Trump, not like Elon, where, he's spent massive time there.
Which has been in the news since Gates and I spoke. And there's obviously a sense that he wants to be on side in some respect, even if it's just with a view to getting his ongoing support for his philanthropy and aid, which Trump has obviously threatened to cut across the board.
Gates mentioned warfare specifically in your interview.
There, and sadly in warfare it may, change things quite a bit as well. That's, not necessarily a good thing.
Tell us about that.
So Gates was incredibly upbeat about the everyday applications of artificial intelligence, and he was quite, he sort of stressed that the opportunities are kind of boundless when it comes to AI benefiting our lives. But he did mention concern that AI would be used in defense and warfare applications. And that is, I think, real growing concern that we're only a few steps away from AI being installed in some, weaponized. I mean, the American military and the Israeli military, for example, already use AI applications in their weapons, in flying drones, in automatic targeting. So you can see where Gates is coming from when he's kind of voicing some of these concerns.